Right, greetings everybody and welcome to another video. And guess what? This is not a rebirth video. This is not a Final Fantasy VII video. This is just a Wotv video. It's kind of weird, just really quickly, because I always have to have an intro talk a little bit time. It's a little weird what's been going on lately where I have just kicked up the content on my channel a bunch. So rebirth videos, for those who are enjoying them, good news. We will be pretty much having one every single day this week. Up to part 13 has been uploaded right now. I've been really enjoying it. It's been a ton of fun. Maybe one of my very, very fun thing happened in part 13. Not to oversell it, but, you know, just to explain. So yeah, hope people are enjoying that. And if you're avoiding it for spoilers, totally understand. Just click the video and then, you know, back up before the video starts, and thanks for the views. Right, but anyway, not talking about Final Fantasy VII. Wotv last week was incredibly busy with everything that happened with tactics and Garuza, and I'm still kind of recovering from it. I still feel pretty fatigued from talking about Wotv because it was an exciting moment. In many ways, it still is exciting talking about the tactics characters, and that's not this video. This video is about the update and everything in it, but there will be some more tactics related stuff in the near future, so please look forward to that. So yeah, let's get back on topic and talk about the actual Wotv update today, starting with our new vision card and esper combo. As you can see, brand new for me, because I have not actually loaded in this page yet. So we have the Sabatender, if you prefer, the giant cactar from Final Fantasy VIII, is our new esper. And taking a look first at just the VC, it's a holo VC, 315 HP, 15 AP, 149 attack, and 2 agility. I think that's pretty nice for a vision card. Unit effects, 5% HP, AoE resistance of 10, party effects, single target resistance 24, critical evasion of 16, and attack of 50. This isn't just like, you look at this and obviously certain percentages are higher here than other cards, but it doesn't feel like it's as impactful, and I'll be interested to see whether or not this vision card does make its way into a lot of teams, because you can usually tell with some of the videos that are put out there about current meta stuff about how far a vision card has actually gone. And the esper vision cards lately, it's either been one or the other. It's very rarely been both, has been actually quite useful. So I think that's pretty interesting in most cases. Debuff effect weakening is 15. Now subs numbers are lower for certain percentages, and that's fine. The vision card is what it is. So let's talk about the esper. Now the esper, I think, does live up to its name at least a little bit. The agility is 18 on it, which was probably the thing I was most curious and most interested in, was whether or not this esper was going to be an incredibly fast esper. And yeah, kind of, but also kind of no. I was really hoping for something either ridiculous or, well, just something ridiculous, and it wasn't. So yeah, I mean, not too much in the way of power creep here. 120 attack. It is a physical supportive esper. Does dispel basically everything in terms of like buffs, haste, physical damage increase, magical damage increases. So that's kind of nice to have dispel on an esper, because it can be very useful in certain situations. The skill tree for this thing is wind attack and slash attack, so it's exactly the Garuza card that everybody and myself was expecting. Accuracy, magic resistance, critical evasion, and the special thing in the bottom is kind of hard to read. Physical damage taken, the larger the air attack size effect is actually what we are looking here. And I mean, it's good, it's fine, but for whatever reason, this esper feels, you know, for Garuza only right now. I don't think that it would be that much of an improvement for other wind physical units. Wind is kind of like in a magical spot right now. So yeah, this esper, the good news is that it doesn't feel like it is super required at the moment, and if it is required in the future at all, well, it's a permanent addition to the pool, so you always have a chance of off-bannering this. And heck, if you have any kind of experience like I do, off-banners happen more regularly. All right. So next up, let's talk about the raid. And the raid equipment this time around is this new ring, the Black Tortoise ring. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a copy of it yet because I was a little bit late today in updating. But for people who are curious about the event, Garuza and Exia are the big bonus units, as well as we have a big bonus vision card. For everybody else, you'll be kind of just using. The good news here is that the tactics characters are available on this, which basically means that everyone can get essentially a 1.3 times bonus, especially because everybody gets a 120 character with this event. So that is really nice, and I'm quite happy to see that. Vision cards, it's a little bit less friendly, but you know, there's only so much I think you can expect nowadays. So taking a look here, just to shift into here for a second, not that, but where's our milestones? Why can't I find it? I just want to see the actual recipe. I feel like I'm just looking in the wrong spot. So there is the vision card, which we can see by getting to rare raid level 5. I guess we'll just talk about this really quickly. AP up and AP acquisition up and AP cost down. All of that things that we talked about in the previous video are available on this card, and it's generally fine. You know, it is what it is. It's a nice little bonus free card for everybody. All right, as for the recipe for the Black Tortoise ring, well, I have a question for you, dear viewer. Do you hate the current meta? Because that is what this ring is. So it does come in barrier type or shield type. And taking a look here, the attributes for getting it to 5-star as follows. Maximum HP up by 20%. All attribute ability attack resistance up by 7. Frostbite resistance up by 40, don't move resistance up by 40, and berserk resistance up by 40. So if you take a look at some of the most popular status effects from, you know, a couple of weeks ago, before some of these other new units and the tactics units came back into the game, this is a ring that kind of puts the kibosh a little bit on something that made Gilgamesh as well as Shrek incredibly powerful. And we also have, you know, Berserk in there too. But the Black Tortoise ring feels like a answer to a meta that is still kind of going, but how much longer it will be going is questionable. Like, it isn't curse resistance at all, but it is a couple of resistances that are pretty prominent still. So this ring is rated pretty high and is pretty exciting. For anybody who's just been, you know, a little bit tired of the meta and looking for the meta to shift, this is definitely going to push it a little bit further. I mean, the thing is that I would expect that a lot of mid-tier players and high-tier players have probably invested quite heavily into Shrek, so Shrek will probably still be around. So the valuation of this ring is pretty high. I would say that this piece of raid equipment is definitely worth at least getting a couple copies of. This is one of the ones that is essentially just good across a range of characters. So yeah, that is essentially that. All right, and from there we have a couple other of upgrades to do with 2 specific units. First off, we'll talk about Soul. So Soul's master ability before was HP up. For whatever reason my notes switched. HP up, fire attack up, single attack resistance up, and reaction block rate up. And I'm happy, or, kind of expected, that nothing has changed almost. All of that is the exact same evaluation as it was before, with the one difference being that he now has reduced magical damage taken by 20%, which is a fine thing to get. It is extra survivability for an already pretty strong character, and a character that is still used in quite a high variety of themes for fire elemental and wind element. I see a good number of souls in Arena. I'm not terribly surprised that his upgrade from his master ability 2 is pretty small. This just isn't a very big increase because it doesn't really need to be a very big increase. And that cuts both ways. Essentially, it's just a bonus to people who are using him right now. But in the near future, he might fall off harder, especially around the 5th anniversary. So be careful about how much you want to invest, and maybe keep an eye on towards the end of this month when we have better details about what to expect for the 5th Annie. All right. So continuing on, our other character that has been upgraded is Garnesback. And as you can see, even me as a water player, I haven't invested completely in him, although I could. Yeah, we could finish him right now. We're not going to, but we could. His master ability before was HP, water attack, and pierce attack, basically, which was, fine. Taking a look now, those have not changed, but what we are looking at for improvements: increased single target resistance penetration rate of 25 for self, healing power increase of 10 for self, and a 200% chance to ignore fatal damage when his HP is over 70%. This feels like a really good upgrade for a 70 cost character, and it's kind of interesting. Like, first off, just the fact that his single target resistance penetration is permanent on him is really, really good. It powers up a lot of abilities in his main kit. It powers up his limit burst. It essentially brings Garnesback into a better position as a damage dealer, which was what he was being used as before. Kind of. Healing power up is just generally good. If you look at certain characters in the water element, they can apply certain buffs that do activate healing. So the higher amount of healing that he is getting is, once again, just generally better here. And last but not least, ignore just a permanent, so long as his HP up is, over 70%, he can survive a fatal hit, is really, really quite nice. I think that this character, there's a real possibility that we could see this character as a resurgence because of this in limited cost content. If you look right now, Agrias, with her regeneration, is doing quite a bit of work for ice, and in part to that, water and earth as well. So if you were to pair Agrias with this, well, that's 150 cost right there, and you can throw another 100 cost, such as Gilgamesh or Exia, and that's a really, really strong looking water team when there are a bunch of fire characters running around. It is completely plausible that a low cost event would absolutely see this character, because once you get into extra synergy with other characters, the fact that some characters such as A2 or others have healing abilities, Garnesback has a potential of really, to survive quite well in the fight, which has never been something that he's been overly good at. So I really, really like this upgrade for Garnesback. It's synergistic with itself. It does a lot of the stuff that he was essentially already doing, and kind of will do better now for points of just damage and staying alive, which are two pretty good criteria. Do I think that he will set the world on fire? No, he's a water elemental character. But this is one of the upgrades I like way more than Soul, where Soul is just so flat that it's just not going to make that big of a difference in the long run. There could be a lot of cases where, especially if spear damage comes back in a big way, this character will find his uses for sure, as long as the synergy is there. So thank you so much for watching. That is all for this video. We will be talking about more stuff in the near future related to tactics and tactics characters. But this is me signing off.